Let's dive into Meteora. Meteora is the #1 place where you can earn yield on Solana. First, this is Meteora's Twitter. The same team that bought you Jupiter also has bought you Meteora. They've now kind of split the team in two because of how much work there is for both. This is Meteora's website. We're just going to click go to the app. And before we go through everything, let's just see how much Meteora has grown recently. If we go to DeFiLlama.com, we can click on Solana. This shows us the total value locked in DeFi on the blockchain. The most amount of total value locked relate to Marinade and Jito. These are in liquid staking tokens, MSOL and JitoSol. But if we come on down to number 6, we can see Meteora at 1.84 million. And of all the dApps that do liquidity pools, this has the most amount of liquidity. Competitors being Orca and Radium. So let's click on Meteora, and you can see they had over $200 million worth of liquidity back in 2021. But if we zoom forward, we can see mid last year, they had about 9.5 million. And then this has just shot up. So let's go over how you can use Meteora to earn some yield and so you understand the actual product. There's a few different products here. Pools, this is similar to Orca and Radium. Here you've got vaults. This deploys the capital into different dApps and then it returns a yield. And you also have farms, because sometimes you can earn extra rewards such as the Blaze token from BSOL by being in particular LP pairs, such as Blaze and USDC. However, the main product I want to show you is the DLMM. So what is the DLMM? This is the Dynamic Liquidity Market Making tool from Meteora. And this is the best product by far. It's got a few moving parts, so we'll go through each one. Here we can see the total value locked in all of the pools, the amount of swap volume in just 24 hours, and at present, my deposits. These are all the different pools here. Some you're going to recognize, such as if we click on JUP bonus pools, JUP and JitoSol, and then there's other pools you may not recognize, such as JUP and Arab. And I'm unsure what Arab is, but I imagine it's a meme coin. Then if we examine each pool, we can see the TVL, so the total value locked in this pool. As an example, this is almost $12 million. The volume in 24 hours, 322,000. The 24-hour fee, 0.01%. The final column is LMAPR. This is liquidity mining annual percentage rate. And this relates to the fact that some of the pools, in this case, these 4, they're actually giving you some extra tokens for you providing liquidity. As an example, Jupe and Chonky, you're receiving extra Chonky and quite a bit of it for providing liquidity. Similar with Bonk, you're receiving Bonk. With BSOL, you're receiving Blaze tokens. And with JitoSol, you're receiving the JTO token. Now let's go through an example of adding some crypto to one of these liquidity pools. So up here, we're just going to type in Sol. Then we're going to go with TVL. We'll skip this one for now, but we'll go down and we'll go into Sol and USDC. We can see the fee is 0.05 and we'll go through a few more things as we click on it. So there's just over $1 million in this liquidity pool and we've got some numbers over here. You can clearly see that my liquidity is nothing. So what I want to do is I want to add some liquidity. Now to understand these numbers, first we have to understand what is a bin step. Well, let's just go with 100 USDC. Down here, every single one of these is a bin. A bin is a place where you can put your liquidity. In this particular occasion, you're going to be evenly distributing your USDC into each of the 69 bins. A bin is essentially a price range where the token will trade. The bin step, this is the amount of basis points between one bin and the next. So, as an example, there are 69 bins. I'm going to reduce this right down to 2 bins. As a percentage, from this price to this price, it's 0.008%. So when there's a small bin, this is better for things that are not very volatile. A larger bin, such as 100, this is for things that are more volatile. Then we've got the base fee. This is 0.05%. It can climb all the way to 10% if there's a lot of volatility and volume in this particular liquidity pool. The protocol fee, this relates to the amount that Meteora is actually taking. At present, this is 0%, and the dynamic fee is the overall fee at the time. In this case, it's exactly the same as the base fee. But if there was a lot more volume and volatility, maybe this could climb a little bit to say 0.5%. For a market like Sol USDC, I don't think that's necessarily going to happen, but the thing is, this way the liquidity providers get extra yield. And then down the bottom, these are the fees that have been collected by the entire liquidity pool over the last 24 hours. So let's go and reset this here. Now we've reset it to 69 bins. This is a maximum number of basically price ranges that we can choose with one liquidity position. This is the current restriction of Solana, and if you want to have access to more liquidity bins, you would open multiple positions set differently. Now let's add some liquidity. Maybe I want to go with half. I'm going to add half my SOL, and this is going to add some USDC as well. Alternatively, I can turn off autofill, and maybe I just want to add some USDC. So we'll take off this, and here, let's just go and add, say, $50 into this liquidity position. Because I've added no SOL, there's nothing for me to sell. So SOL would be deposited into these liquidity pools for me to sell. As I don't have any SOL here, I'm only providing liquidity here. Meaning when people want to sell SOL, they'll be selling to me at these current prices. And if I want a tighter range, I could just change this as an example like this. On this occasion, the SOL price would have to come down to this range for me to start buying the SOL and then trading the SOL back to SOL, USDC, etc, etc. So I'm just going to go like this, and I'm going to click add liquidity. We can see the USDC is going to leave my wallet, and there's also a Solana fee. This is for rent, and we can claim this back when we close the position. So let's click confirm, and we can see down the bottom that transactions have been completed. We now have some USDC here, ready to buy some SOL if the price dips. You may have noticed we have this caution icon, it's just popped up. So the current market price falls outside the designated price range for your position. And this is just because the price of SOL went a little bit higher. So it has to go down before we can start buying and selling. So let's do another order, this time with some SOL. We can just go and swap right here, or we can just come down here to JUP, and this is integrated with JUP, and we can just take, say, $100 and swap it like that and confirm. Confirm in our wallet, and we now have just under 1 SOL. So let's close that and let's add another position. This time we'll go with about 1 SOL, and we'll add some USDC here as well. Now let's cover the volatility strategy. We've got 3 to choose from. However, if you're familiar with their SDK, you can create your own and deploy it. We're just going to try spot for now. This means there's an equal amount of our crypto going through every single one of these bins. Here we can see it's all USDC 2.88 in each range, and then here on this side in purple it's 0.0029 SOL in each of these ranges. So let's add liquidity, and before we confirm, just notice there is an extra fee of SOL for rent, but now we can confirm. We know we'll get that rent back when we close the position. Now we can see we've got our new liquidity range right here. Let's add a couple more positions. This time we're going to go with a curve. Let's go with 0.1 SOL and $10 worth of USDC. With this curve, most of the trading is going to happen here. If the price goes down really low, we don't have a lot of crypto in this range, and if the price goes really high, then we don't have a lot being traded at this price. We can also narrow the range if we want to, and now we're actually only going to trade in this range. Once again, most of it here, and of course the price can change fairly quickly, and very little trading would happen here. We'll add liquidity and confirm. Let's add one more position here, the bid ask. The bid ask can be used to dollar cost average out or in to a strategy. So it says right here, typically deployed single-sided for a DCA in or out strategy. It can be used to capture volatility, especially when prices vastly move out of the typical range. It does say single-sided, but we can do it both ways if we wish. As an example, let's go with, say, turning this off with autofill and 100 USDC. At the current price, we're going to do a little bit of buying and selling here, and then if the price dips down, we're going to do a lot more buying and selling, a lot more trading in this range right here. So we'll add liquidity here and we'll confirm, and that's gone through. Let's go to add position again, and now what I want to do is just a small amount, 0.3 SOL, and also some USDC into the bid ask system. So at this price, we're not going to sell a lot of SOL. There's a little bit of SOL in this bin. We can do buying and selling here. It has to go all the way up here for most of the SOL to be traded. So we'll add liquidity and we'll confirm this. Now let's add a little bit more. Let's use this strategy, the bid ask. But what we're going to do is we're going to change this. We're thinking that maybe the price is going to go down to $80. And so in this range, this is where we want to capture some value. So we'll go with $50. And basically, as it gets closer and closer to $80, this is where we start to do more trading, with a small amount being in this section right here. We'll add liquidity and we'll confirm. So now if we have a look at our positions, we can see 2 are not earning any yield. this one, and this one. This one we deliberately know that we want it to earn yield if the price dips down. If the price does dip down to around $80, then we start to get some of that SOL. And this one here, it just fell out of this range just briefly. So let's click on this range and we have to change the parameters. At present, there's no way for us to change the range other than by just withdrawing the liquidity. So here is withdraw. We can go and remove whatever we want. We'll remove it all. And if we want to keep the position there with no funds, we can just withdraw liquidity. But I'm just going to withdraw and close the position. We can always deploy another position, and we can see we get our SOL back that we use for rent as well. And we'll confirm, and the page is just auto updated and we no longer have that. So we could go and deploy again if we wanted to, like that, if the range is going to stay in this zone. Let's now cover the coffee shop strategy. We'll go back to DLMM here, and I'm going to go with the JUP bonus pools. I'm going to enter the JUP SOL pool. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take some USDC and I'm going to swap it into some SOL and swap and confirm, and we'll swap more. This time we're just going to go and we're going to grab some JUP and confirm. So JUP and SOL, there's a decent amount of trading volume and we're going to try and capture some of that right now. We'll click on add position and we'll click curve. So this is a concentrated approach that aims to maximize capital efficiency. This is great for stables or pairs where the price does not change very often, but it's also great if you're just going to put in liquidity for a short time. Ben Chow mentions this as the coffee shop strategy. So you go to a coffee shop, you buy a coffee, you open your laptop, you start earning some yield, you finish your coffee, you close the position. So let's do that. Let's add some liquidity. We're going to click on max. So we're going to be adding this amount of JUP and this amount of SOL, but we're going to tighten up this curve. If it falls out of the range, we can always just correct it, but this is the range that we want to trade in. Add liquidity and confirm. We'll leave this for a few minutes and then have a look at our fees. Keep in mind, we put in almost $370 worth of liquidity. And by the way, make sure you're familiar with impermanent loss before you do any liquidity providing on any DeFi dApp. It's very, very easy to understand, but essentially your JUP can decrease and your SOL can increase. Then, if the price of JUP goes up, you will have less value than if you just held them. The reverse could also be true. The JUP price could go down, the SOL price could go up, you'll have more JUP and less SOL, and once again, it would have been better off to have just held the assets and not provided liquidity. So the goal of providing liquidity is to earn more fees than impermanent loss takes away. And we'll never know if our strategy works until after the fact. Now let's also go and add some JUP and USDC into this pool right here. The fee is quite a bit lower, but it's getting quite a bit more volume. It's got less TVL, but it has more volume. So maybe this will do well. We have a position here in a range that's not earning any yield. So as we know, we can go and we can remove this position. We can claim the fees here and we'll get a little bit of JUP and a little bit of USDC, or we can just click withdraw, claim it all, withdraw and close position. So we only have to do it once. Now let's go and swap and get some more JUP. So 200 USDC into JUP, we'll swap right here and confirm. Now add position, we're going to go with the curve. We'll go with max all of this JUP right here. This adds some USDC here, but of course we could turn off autofill and just vary this if we wanted to, but we'll keep it just with autofill and click max again. And we've changed this so we get more of the volume. Add liquidity and confirm. Now let's understand the fees and the yield. As you can see, in the last 24 hours, this liquidity pool, based on its TVL, earned 0.3%. So we can see the total value locked and we can see the 24-hour fee. So if we take the fees, $882.35, and we divide that by $297,518.24 and times that by 100, we can see this is the fee, 0.29%. It's just been rounded up slightly on the website. But this is the fee for the total pool. As an example, if the price doesn't go into this range or this range over here, then you will not earn any fees on that. So if you tighten up your ranges, you can earn quite a bit more yield. And the good thing is, when it goes outside of the range, then there'll be no more buying and selling. You can get in, close the position, and redeploy the capital. Now, what about a degen approach, getting into a meme coin or something like that? Let's have a look at 24-hour fee, and we can see Harambe and Sol, I don't even know what this token is at 5.58% in 24 hours. Now, as I don't know the token, we're going to go down 1 and we'll have a look at whales and Sol. We could also, of course, have a look at this one right here, but the actual TVL is very, very low. It's just reset on us, so let's just change this again. There's only $487, which is quite crazy. Maybe this had quite a bit of liquidity and then it was just pulled out, I'm unsure. So let's just have a look at whales and Sol. There's been $151,000 of trading volume. There's $42,000 in this pool, and the 24-hour fee was quite sizable. Now I can click on swap and I can just go from Sol to whales if I want to, but if I have USDC, I just need to come down here, or if I have another token and I'll just go USDC into some whales. I'll just do a small order here and swap and confirm, and we'll swap a little bit more into Sol again as well. Just $30, swap, confirm, and confirm. Now we'll add a position. This time I'm just going to go with max here. I'm just going to shorten this. I'm just using the spot market, but I'm just going to use this small narrow range. Of course, I would monitor this throughout the day to ensure we don't go out of the range. Now, of course, this yield is dynamic. It can change all the time. So we're not going to know how good the yield is, and that all depends on the trading volume. The next strategy is how to get tokens from the LFG launch. So if we go to lfg.jup.ag, we know that we used this recently to buy some JUP tokens, and a lot of people came and they just tried to buy right here, and many orders failed. It was very, very challenging. So who were the real winners at getting this token? It was actually the liquidity providers. I can't show you this because we need to wait for another launch to happen. I'll cover it then. Essentially what happened is we had different pools that were launched. So as an example, there was JUP and USDC, and people were able to add a position with a different price range and just add USDC. That way, anyone that managed to get through a sell transaction, it would be done for their JUP, and they would be all of a sudden earning tremendous fees on the JUP, as well as also getting some JUP. They could then withdraw the JUP or let it trade in the range they wanted to. But for the next LFG Launchpad token, we'll cover this with another tutorial. Now let's quickly cover the MET token. If you go and provide liquidity, you'll be earning the MET token. It's a point system, I believe, at first, and that will convert to the MET token later on. We don't have a lot of details, but what we can see in the docs is the MET 1-year plan. We're waiting on the timeline, but it's all about the MET movement. We really don't have much information on MET. The only thing I would suggest is this will increase a massive amount of liquidity into Meteora. This will grow substantially. My assumption is maybe $600 million worth of TVL by June 2024, but that's just a prediction. And right now, to keep up to date with MET, make sure you're in the Discord. Also, if there's things you want to do for the community, be active and help them out here. Maybe this will also give you some MET points in the future as well. You can also see a lot of people asking, when can we see MET points? There's no information on that yet. I don't think it's a priority. It can all be checked on chain when they're actually launching it. So just use the dApp for now, and then that will come in the future. Now let's have a look at the DLMM pools and see if we've earned any fees, and we can also withdraw the liquidity if we like as well. So JUP and USDC, I've earned nothing crazy here, 28 cents. As a reminder, this is my position right here. At the moment, it's fallen down, and so I don't have a lot of liquidity in this narrow band, in this narrow bin. So the price would need to come up for me to be earning more, or I would need to probably go with spot and have an equal distribution amongst everything. Next up is Sol and USDC. Now just keep in mind that the base fee is very, very low right here. So I have earned some fees, but nothing very high. And right now I'm earning some fees in this pool right here as it kind of moves from one to the other, but I've only got about $2.80 in every bin. Next, we've got JUP and Jito Sol. Thus far, I've only got some unclaimed JTO rewards. And if we have a look here, we can see there's not a lot of trading happening right now. As for whales, we managed to earn some whales, but unfortunately the price moved and we stopped earning yield. But for whales and Sol, this is still going well. We've got some whales and some Sol here, and we're currently towards the end of our bins, so we could come out of the range and stop earning a yield soon. So the final thing that we'll do is we'll just remove all the liquidity because it's out of the range. Of course, we can leave it there in case the range is met again, but just for this tutorial, we'll withdraw and close the position and confirm, and we'll withdraw this position as well. And when we withdraw this one, we'll automatically claim these fees here, of course, and close position. So we've now claimed our position. We can see the total fees that we earned and claimed, And if we want to, we can go and swap our whales back to USDC or vice versa. We can do whatever we like. So that's how you can use Meteora. This is my favorite DeFi app for those that have a little bit more in the way of skills. For those that are still learning everything, remember you can go to Kamino Finance and you can go to Liquidity and you can use Meteora via Kamino and let them manage the strategy. So as we can see, this relates to Meteora. This is their strategy, and we can just click on dupe vaults if we like as well. And we can see that these are all of their strategies. Kamino is still using Meteora, but when it goes out of a range, they will redeploy it to a different range. And you can see the APY at the moment with the prediction right here. That's all for this tutorial. Make sure you go and join the Discord. Best of luck earning some MET rewards in the future. Remember, the token is not live yet. And best of luck with your DeFi adventures.